This episode is sponsored by Plod AI. We've all been there. You're days away from a deadline and you remember a brilliant idea from a brainstorming session, but you can't find it in your notes. It's frustrating, confusing, and frankly, a waste of time. Recently, I've integrated Plod AI, that's P-L-A-U-D, into my daily workflow, and it's a game changer for staying organized. Plod isn't just an app, it's a hardware-software powerhouse. I use the Note Pro for phone calls, Note Pen for my in-person meetings, and the new Plod desktop app for all my virtual sessions. With one click, it records everything and generates an accurate, searchable transcript. But the real magic is the Ask Plod feature. I can literally ask questions about a meeting from 3 weeks ago and get an instant answer. It turns every conversation into a searchable asset for me and my team. Stop taking notes and focus. Turn your meetings into actionable insights with the world's most advanced AI note taker. Learn more at plod.ai. That's Plaud.ai. And use the promo code CODESTORY, all one word, to get 10% off your purchase.
Supply chain is complex and difficult and manual. And we envision at every point we can provide a co-pilot equivalent, which will help you make better decisions, which will help you automate your most tedious tasks. Supply chain industry has many challenges. 40% of our food gets wasted, or 38% of the food in the United States gets wasted, either in farms, in supply chain, in restaurants. If we can use this AI technology to ship it even 5 days faster, that number could be 10% less. Imagine 10% of the total food of United States every year, right? That can feed like entire countries.
I'm Sid Dixit. I'm Chief Technology Officer at iTrade Network.
This is Code Story, a podcast bringing you interviews with tech visionaries.
Spent 6 months moonlighting.
There's nothing on the back end.
Who share what it takes to change an industry.
I don't exactly know what to do
Took
next.
many goes to get right.
Who built the teams that have their back.
A company is its people.
The teams help each other achieve more.
I was proud of our team.
Keeping scalability top of mind.
All that infrastructure was
Yes, we've been fighting it as we grow.
Total waste of time. The stories you don't read in the headlines.
It's not an easy thing to achieve, mind
Took it
you.
off the shelf and dusted it off and tried it again.
To ride the ups and downs of the startup life.
You need to really want it. Not just about technology.
All this and more on Code Story. I'm your host, Noah Labhart, and today how Sid Dixit has built a smarter path to supply chain growth by unifying data and building smarter workflows.
Today's episode is brought to you by .tech Domains, and this one hits close to home. Back in 2016, I was building my startup and went hunting for that perfect .com and found next to nothing. So I did what every founder does, settled. Here's what I wish someone had told me. You're building a tech startup, just get a .tech domain. It instantly tells investors and customers what you're about. Don't overthink it. Secure your .tech domain today from any registrar of your choice. This episode is sponsored by Unblocked. Unblocked is the context layer your agents are missing. It synthesizes your PRs, docs, Slack, and tickets into organizational context that agents actually understand. So they make better plans, write higher quality code, use fewer tokens, and require fewer correction loops. If you're running Claude Code, Cursor, or any agentic workflow, Unblocked is worth a look. Learn more at getunblocked.com/codestory. This episode is sponsored by Mesmo. If your team is collecting large volumes of logs, metrics, and traces, but still struggling to get timely answers, Mesmo can help. Mesmo is an active telemetry platform that processes and enriches observability data in real time before it's stored or analyzed. That means lower data volume, lower cost, and faster root cause analysis across your existing observability tools. To see how it works, get a demo at mesmo.com/codestory. That's MEZMO.com/codestory. This episode is sponsored by BrainGrid. If you are building with AI coding tools, but your features keep breaking, you need to check out BrainGrid. It is the product management agent for AI builders. BrainGrid turns messy ideas into clear specs, tasks, and prompts that coding agents like Cursor and Claude can actually build the right way. Ship real software, not fragile prototypes. Start free at braingrid.ai.
Sid Dixit is originally from central India and came to the States for college. He is a technologist and builder at heart, serving in leadership roles across major companies. He has built and managed a fleet of satellites, built robots at Amazon, worked at Microsoft on Surface tablets, and finally at Google working on Android. But outside of tech, he lives in the Bay Area with his wife and kids. He loves water sports, especially sailing. He spent 10 years in San Diego and stumbled upon the sport. Sid's current company started in 1999 and was acquired in 2010. A few years ago, Sid joined the company at a time when they were wanting to rebuild their network from the ground up, starting with a powerful index. This is Sid's creation story at iTrade Network.
I ask people, hey, if you had a breakfast, lunch, or dinner, there's a good chance at least one of them came through iTrade Network. So iTrade Network is a leader in perishable supply chain, moving around maybe 1/3 of perishable supply chain of United States and Canada or North America. We do so by providing SaaS solutions for various people. So think about when you buy Driscoll strawberries at Kroger's or Costco. Somewhere in between that is our software, which is helping these Driscoll sell the strawberries, invoices, orders, POs, all that stuff. And somewhere it's letting Kroger buy these strawberries and negotiate prices and complete the transaction. Similarly, if you're traveling at an airport or a stadium or a university, there's a cafeteria selling coffee or food, and they similarly use a plethora of our software and applications to be able to move things across supply chain. So Tyson chicken might be sold through a Cisco distributor, which will end up at a Compass end unit at San Francisco airport, probably running a burger joint. So that's iTrade. We are a perishable food supply chain leader for almost 27 years now. A long time ago, around year 2000, a number of large companies, I believe which included McDonald's and some other large players, they realized that we all don't need to spend dollars to build the ERP or EDI systems by ourselves to be able to solve a common problem. And they came together and supported a group of entrepreneurs to build a SaaS platform which could be used for managing orders in perishable food supply chain. And this needed to be new because perishable supply chain has nuances. When you're shipping strawberries in a truck, you can't have onions in the same truck. It's going to spoil the taste of strawberries. Or if you're shipping onions, you can use a lower form of transport than you will use for strawberries or something else. A system needed to be nuanced enough to understand what is being transported than a vanilla. That's some of our original founders came along and built this company. Since then, in year, I believe 2010, Roper Technologies, which is a publicly listed company, ended up acquiring iTrade Network, and we continue to be part of portfolio of now 29 companies in various vertical SaaS segments.
I tend to ask questions around the MVP, right? And I get that iTrade Network started way back when. Tell me about your MVP when you joined, the first project you had to take on. How did you approach it? What sort of tools you're using to bring it to life and to fruition? Tell me some stories there.
We are full of such MVP stories, actually. iTrade Network is a system of record. For our buyers and sellers, the system of record is our SaaS software, and they log in. But with the advent of AI, we are also able to go from system of record to upgrade to system of intelligence, right? We can provide not only our buyers and sellers how to do this by using your hands, keyboard, and mouse, but more importantly, maybe what to do. So if you're a buyer, like what price you should buy strawberries, right? But why stop there, right? It's a perishable supply chain, super complex, requires a lot of manual work. A buyer could be sitting all day long, punching in the orders. And if you think about what does a buyer's mind go, first things, hey, somebody wants to buy 100 trucks of strawberries, for example, or 100 crates of strawberries. They think about, hey, how much do I need to buy? That's a forecasting agent, right? price I need to buy. That's like a pricing agent. Who do I need to buy? That's a request for quotation agent, which will scan like hundreds of people, maybe request a quote from 10 people. How do I negotiate? That's a negotiation agent, right? So fundamentally, you go from system of record to system of intelligence to system of agents. And that's the journey I started when I joined iTrade Network, actually. When we realize that we have a significant value creation opportunity for our customer, if we can provide them this system of intelligence and system of automation layers, we looked at what are our next immediate opportunities. One of the things we found was, hey, buyers and sellers in our industry, unlike stock market, they don't have a live ticker for strawberries. They pick up their phone or emails and call each other and negotiate the price. And the only guidance they get is from USDA pricing. And USDA gathers their pricing by phone calls and emails, sometimes 3 days old, sometimes 7 days old, sometimes off by 20-30% because it's self-reported and prone to errors. What if we build a system which is looking at all these transactions which are already happening in our systems anonymously and randomized by preserving the privacy, but create a cost guidance? So we ended up building something called Cost Index. And we brought down this average recommended pricing for, let's say, strawberries, what was error-prone and maybe off by 7 days, to 2 hours real-time pricing with a very small margin of error. And this is helping our customers for the very first time have an equivalent of stock ticker or the commodities they trade in. It's wild to imagine, right? Food is one of the biggest expense out for housing, but an index for food did not exist in a real-time manner up until now. That was our first MVP.
Okay, so that's really interesting. I'm curious about a decision or trade-off you had to make in building that first version. Tell me about a decision or trade-off you had to make and how you coped with it.
One of the most interesting one was we trade in a gazillion number of commodities, but which ones do we pick? Which ones do we do first? Where do we start? What are the top 5 commodities, top 10 commodities, top 20 commodities? And for us to do that decision, it really came down to who are going to be the early adopters and who are going to be customers. So we reached out to a bunch of customers, pitched our concept, shared with them what Cost Index is. And we looked at what are the things which are most meaningful to our customers, which are the most, call it, perishable out of the supply chain, which are the most which are susceptible to wide swings in prices. And we ended up narrowing a list of 30 commodities where we are going to focus. But I call this a strawberry story. Almost everything came down to prices of strawberries and apples. And they turned out to be our first of the 2 very first commodities for which we launched Cost Index. Now, it may not look like a trade-off, right? Hey, we are just starting with a thing. But it was something hard, actually. It wasn't that easy, because we have to really say no to a number of customers who are not trading in this. We have to really focus all of our teams and energy to go deeper. When you're trading an apple, somebody might be trading it as Apple Gala Fuji. Somebody might be trading as FUJ APPL. Now, if you want to even drive any harmonization of data, you need AI agents which can scan, look, analyze, and harmonize them and map these things. These 3 things mean exactly the same thing. So that was a big prioritization for us.
This episode is brought to you by Cash App. If you've been curious about Bitcoin but haven't made the jump yet, Cash App makes it easy. You can set up automatic purchases with 0 fees or buy larger amounts, also with 0 fees. Start small or go bigger. It's designed to be simple either way. For a limited time, new customers can get $10 added to their balance. Just use code CASHAPP10 when you sign up. And don't forget this part, send at least $5 to a friend in the first 2 weeks. Terms apply. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Bitcoin services provided by Block Inc. brand. For additional information, see the Bitcoin disclosures at cash.app/legal/podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by .tech domains. And this one hits close to home. Back in 2016, when I was building my own tech startup, I went on the hunt for that elusive .com. Looked high, looked low, and guess what I found? Nothing.
What I did find cost me an arm and a leg. So I did what every founder does under pressure. Threw in extra letters, settled for the less than optimal name. And here's what I wish someone had said to me back then. Noah, you're building a tech startup. Just get a .tech domain. Techstartup.tech domain. It could not be more obvious. It tells investors, customers, and anyone who looks at your website, really, that tech is at the core of your build. And I've kicked myself plenty since, especially when I see the clean and sharp names tech companies have landed on .tech. Nothing.tech, 1x.tech, Aurora.tech, CES.tech, Ultra.tech, Alice.tech, Neon.tech, Blaze.tech, Pi.tech. You get the idea. So take it from someone who learned it the hard way. If you're building a tech startup, don't overthink it. Secure your .tech domain today from any registrar of your choice.
Let's move forward then. I'm curious about how you progressed and matured this new index and how you're going about that. And I think to wrap it in a box a little bit, I'm curious about how at iTrade Network you build your roadmap. How do you go about deciding that, okay, this is the next most important thing to build or to address?
So for cost index, we believe in doing beta trials and asking a ton of early customer feedback. And we started that and used that feedback to mature our customers very differently. So for example, when we ended up building it, we built something wrong. We built pricing by per pounds, and you'll say, yeah, what's wrong with that, right? Every case of strawberries you buy is 2 pounds, 3 pounds, 4 pounds, half a pound, 32 ounces. But really, when the large buyers and sellers trade, they almost never trade it in pounds. They do it by cases, actually. This is just one example of a right customer feedback. We have to do some of our core logic to go from pounds to cases, right? We believe in using continuous feedback from our customers to continue to iteratively progress and shape our things. The second question was, hey, how do you pick the next idea? How do you pick the next thing? I think we use a framework called where to play, how to play, right to win. What essentially tells us what are the core things which matter to the customers we already have. So we looked at our customers, we looked at our supply chain. We found where are the most manual operations, basically. What are the most manual things which are going on? Maybe 60% of the use cases, they use our software. And they do order processing, creation, PO, invoicing in our SaaS system. But really, imagine a use case of a small farm or a small farmer doing apples, right, out of Portland, Oregon, or somewhere around it. And it's a small farm. They don't use modern technology or SaaS software, and they still want to sell it to Kroger, right? How do they do that? They actually email it to Kroger and say, hey, here's my apples, here's what it is. Your local Kroger store, they love to carry local produce, and they often buy it. But the cost of doing it is around 30 minutes of back and forth over on an average, sometimes even more. We said, can we improve this experience? So we ended up creating something called Order Agent. And in Order Agent, basically, it's a simplified system along with Email Agent, where a farmer can still send an email and the system can respond back. Hey, what's the price? Or maybe make the price right or confirm this quantity. And the agent sits between it and it will create an order into a larger SaaS system. And similarly, an order agent, farmer can just simply upload a PDF or something and it will show up in the system. What these kind of things do is they let these small players with no tech actually connect to our SaaS systems. The end result is you can find this local farms, apples or bread or something in a Kroger near yours or one of these stores. And we continue to do this across. We continue to run hackathons with our customers. One other thing, how we create products is we actually ran a hackathon in Salinas, California. And in Salinas, California, in this hackathon, we invited our customers, like 6 of them showed up, and we asked them for, hey, in next 6 hours, we're going to build something which solves your core problem. And each one of them suggested a core problem. We had our teams use our system of AI agents called Harvey or our AI factory and take it from idea to architecture, to a dev plan, to code, to QA, to deployment, to security, all in next 4 to 5 hours. And some of these ideas were good enough, which we are now considering from building real products out of those.
let's flip to team. How do you go about building your team? What do you look for in the people you bring on to iTrade Network to determine that they're the winning horses to join you?
We see that a lot of young generation, especially people graduating out of college, are losing on job opportunities. They're not getting as many with the advent of AI. So we are heavily investing out of hiring fresh grads out of college. In fact, I have another 10 to 12 positions open exclusively to hire out of fresh college grads. And we are finding these incredibly talented young people. We hire them, we put them through a thorough mentorship program. We train them, send them to the best of the boot camps in Silicon Valley. And I can't tell you how amazed I am by the work they are producing. They're building AI, they're building agents, they're like super fluent AI native. We call them our superpower rangers or something like that. They're builders, right? Superpower builders. And I'll omit the comment rangers and I'll say these are superpower builders. Number one thing I look for people are builders, right? Are they building something? What have they built? Are they experimenting hands-on? Second thing is I'm very big on, and that's the culture we have set at iTrade, it's big on leadership principles. So we look for ownership, bias for action, earn trust, customer obsession, deliver results, and learn and be curious. Ownership means nothing is beneath us. Hey, if I have to lift a trash can to help my teams, I'm going to do that. Bias for action means when faced with conflicting information and conflicting choices, we err on the side of action, not status quo or deadlock. Deliver results means we are going to deliver results no matter what, and delivering results matter. Earn trust means being vocally self-critical, being humble, being a servant leader, but also having a backbone to disagree and commit, having a backbone to raise the bar, having a backbone to provide tough feedback, or taking the tough feedback also. And ultimately, we like people who are obsessed about the customers. Whether the customers are external customers, internal customers, peer team, stakeholders, people who it matters what they're delivering to their counterparts. And last but not least, we look for learners, people who are curious, want to learn, want to experiment. So that's how we hire at iTrade, and that's how I have hired through my career.
This episode is sponsored by Mesmo. If you're responsible for reliability, performance, or platform architecture, you already know the problem. Telemetry volume is growing faster than teams can manage it. Mesmo addresses this by moving observability upstream. Instead of storing everything and asking questions later, Mesmo processes telemetry in motion, filtering, transforming, and enriching logs, metrics, and traces before they reach your observability backend. The result is cleaner data, reduced ingestion costs, and faster root cause analysis using the tools you already rely on. Mesmo integrates with platforms like Datadog, Dynatrace, and open source stacks, giving teams more control without adding operational overhead. This is especially useful for platform engineers and SREs supporting complex distributed systems where context and speed matter. To see how active telemetry works in practice, get a demo at mesmo.com/codestory. That's mezmo.com/codestory. This episode is sponsored by BrainGrid. Building with AI coding tools is exciting until the moment things start breaking. You ask for a small change and suddenly 3 other features stop working. AI gets confused, misses edge cases, and loses track of your intent. The problem is not code generation. The problem is planning. That is why BrainGrid exists. BrainGrid acts as your product management agent. It writes clear specification, maps UX flows, asks the clarifying questions you forgot to ask, and breaks big ideas into engineering-grade tasks that AI coding tools can build reliably. It guides Cursor, Claude Code, Replit, Windsurf, and others so they deliver features that work and keep working. Founders use BrainGrid to build real AI-native SaaS products without a technical background. If you want reliable features instead of fragile prototypes, try BrainGrid for free at braingrid.ai. That's braingrid.ai.
Let's move into scalability. I'm curious about, as you built this index, how you approach scalability. If there's been interesting areas you've had to fight it as you've grown.
It's an interesting problem. And I'll take scalability as an AI scalability for a second. There are many dimensions of scalability, but this was a unique one. So imagine you're looking at 1 million transactions per day, and you want to harmonize or categorize these transactions into simpler buckets, which could be compared to each other. So we built a system of agents. Think about strawberry agent and apple agent, but actually more complex than them, which harmonize the data, transform them, and extract. But as you scale this system to run millions of instances of it every single day, we know AI models drift. We know AI models do not produce results. So how do you scale such a system? How do you build this, right? People call it evals and LLM judges. That's the common term. It wasn't a common term at the end of 2024, actually. But we ended up building LLM judges or other LLMs or evals, grounds up from the scratch, actually, to evaluate the output of other LLMs and other agentic AI systems in classifying data per cost index. Before that, we used to get like high number of errors, like our data could be only right 90% of the time or 85% of time. But by doing so, we reached like 98, 99% of accuracy, precision, recall, and other F-score metrics, which we measure on a continual basis. But that was one of the key things, right? The other things about scalability in AI systems is observability. How do you observe output of thousands of runs of agents? So we used a technology called Optic, or a framework called Optic, and now we have built it into our platform to introduce observability. But there are really good other solutions too, like Lang Fuse or Arise AI and things like that.
Okay, so as you step on the balcony and you look across all that you've built across your career, what are you most proud of?
So a couple of months back, Mythos came out, and I was incredibly excited. And then a day or two later, it struck me, hey man, this is going to automate a lot of things. And it's a phenomenal advancement for human technology. But for humans who don't learn how to wield AI and how to use AI, it's going to be a challenge. It's going to create an AI divide. So one of the things I did is I created this mission called 1 million build, ONEMILLION.build. 1 million build is an initiative to teach 1 million people how to build with AI. And it is a course. And I found most of the courses, there are a lot of courses on Udemy, on Maven. Many courses on Maven are $2,000 and $4,000 and things like that. Most people in the world can't afford this. So I built a system which is free of cost. Anybody can take it and it's free of cost. We are trying to teach 1 million people how to build using AI agents. So within 18 days, somebody who has never coded in life would learn how to conceptualize their idea, create a PRD, create a business plan, build that application, test that application to be an enterprise-grade, not wipe-coded application, run like SaaS, DAST, OS, top 10 security, do enough full QA testing, deploy the product in cloud, and then use go-to-market agents to build up go-to-market strategy, branding strategy, and all that stuff. We have built these agents, open source agents, which help you do that. So that's something it's new and still scaling up, but I think I'm more excited about. My second biggest success, if I were to look back, is kind of like similar thoughts. I remember many years back, I was sitting in my office at Microsoft, and a gentleman named, I think Samona, comes in, and he said, we got this opportunity to make our Microsoft Surfaces available from a government or initiative or something like that, a White House initiative, probably forgot that, but to thousands of Indian reservation students who will use this cellular connected surface to do homework. And mind it, because it was important because they had no internet connection back then. There was no wired or optical fiber internet available into their communities. They could use these services which have inbuilt cellular modem to connect to internet and do that. And we pitched that program, and I think they got distributed. For me, that's success. you create something which meaningfully impacts mankind. We have been fortunate to live in this day and age in technology, but we have a really short window of time which we can do something meaningful on Earth. I believe by using innovation in product and engineering to not only help advance the commercial products, but then contribute back.
Okay, Sid, let's flip the script a little bit. Tell me about a mistake you made and how you and your team responded to it.
So we built this Microsoft Nokia Lumia tablet, used to ship to Europe with 220-volt chargers. And one of our, conference participants was traveling from one city to another. And when they took out their tablet and charger at the end of their journey, the charger split apart. And what was concerning is it has exposed wires and terminals, which, could be a potential hazard. Now, this was one such incident out of thousands and millions. And you look back and you reflect on it. Is this one isolated incident? Or did we do something fundamentally wrong? And we did. We did it quickly. I ended up creating a small D team and say, hey, bring a lot of chargers and drop test them, ship them, do them. We did a lot of that, mostly survived. Maybe one of them split open. And I was faced with information that maybe there is a problem. This charger can split open and could be a hazard. Or maybe this is an isolated incident and we should watch out for more. I choose to err on the side of caution and ended up issuing actually a product recall. It was a very hard decision to do. We have to announce publicly, our chargers might have an effect. And I'm glad we did that. We ended up investigating this situation deeper into our suppliers, and we found nothing wrong in their manufacturing process. And then we go step deeper into suppliers in China. And we found it ultimately that for chargers made for the European Union, for some reason in that part of supply chain, they were doing ultrasonic welds on chargers 3 times across the periphery, whereas for US chargers, they were doing 5 times or 6 times. That only happened because we dispatch teams to look inside the US supply chain, then they go to the next supplier into China supply chain. When they did not find anything, they still decided to go one more level deeper into supplier's factory, ended up finding that thing. So it was hard, it was difficult to mistake, but I think we got glad we did, and we hold the high bar. And I think it is incredibly important to do these hard decisions, even if they are detrimental.
This episode is sponsored by Unblocked. Your coding agents have access to your code base. Maybe you even connected other tools via MCPs. But access doesn't mean context. Agents can't reason across MCPs. They don't know your architectural decisions, your team's patterns, or why the API was shaped the way it is. So agents look in the wrong place and deliver bad outputs. Then you spend time correcting. More loops, more tokens. Unblocked is the context layer your agents are missing. It synthesizes your PRs, docs, Slack, and tickets into organizational context that agents actually understand. So they make better plans, write higher quality code, use fewer tokens, and require fewer correction loops. If you're running Claude Code, Cursor, or any agentic workflow, Unblocked is worth a look. Learn more at getunblocked.com/codestory.
Okay, Sid, let's move forward then. What does the future look like for iTrade Network, for all that you're building for the company? Tell me about all the things.
So we envision future of iTrade as an autonomous and intelligent supply chain network. We envision where for our customers, where we provide digital assistance, which can help them do their job. Think about supply chain is complex, right? And difficult and manual. And we envision at every point, we can provide a co-pilot equivalent, which will help you make better decisions, which will help you automate your most tedious tasks. So you can start to focus on these long-term. Supply chain industry has many challenges. They have thousands and thousands of unfilled jobs, hundreds of thousands, but there are simply no people to do the job, right? They have probably 40% of our food gets wasted, or 38% of the food in the United States gets wasted, either in farms, in supply chain, in restaurants, just to be used. If we can use this AI technology to ship it even 5 days faster, that number could be 10% less. Imagine 10% of the total food of United States every year, right? That can feed like entire countries. For us, the future looks incredibly promising and incredibly beautiful. And we think we are going to be able to leverage AI in this industry, which has conventionally been a little far behind in the technology spectrum. We look forward to serve our customers with building technologies for them.
Let's switch to you, Sid. Who influences the way that you work? Name a person or many persons or something you look up to and why.
I've been fortunate. I remember working at Microsoft, and Panos Panay, who's the CEO of Microsoft Devices, used to be my skip-level boss, and I'm impressed by the energy he brings in. I remember a time when I was at Motorola, one of our leaders, Rick Ostrello, he was somebody who will always say, nothing is impossible. And I could not even have imagined building the first Android-powered Motorola phone in such a short period of time, except for his leadership. I'm very impressed with my former CTO and whom I used to report at Planet Labs, Karthik Govindaswamy, tireless lifelong learner and builder. But there are two more people I look forward to. One of them is Amar Akhtar. He's the CEO of iTrade Network. I learn a lot from him. I'm very impressed by how deep and thoughtful he is, how he approaches the problem, takes a 360 view, and how he sees his job as a service and responsibility while being incredibly humble. And these are some of the people in my real life I'm very impressed with. But I would also like to mention a book I'm reading. It's called The Motive by Patrick Lencioni. I think if anybody has not read this book, I'll really urge them to read or listen to this book, because it helps you reflect on why are you leading, why are you working, what's your motive. And by doing so, it actually changed me. I'm starting to see my job very differently.
Last question. You're getting on a plane and you're sitting next to a young entrepreneur who's built the next big thing. They're jazzed about it. They can't wait to show it off to the world, and can't wait to show it off to you right there on the plane. What advice do you give that person? I've been gone down this road a bit in several different capacities.
So first of all, I'm the kind of person who will absolutely tell him like, yes, plain Wi-Fi or whatever. And I love to see it right away, right? And I think I fundamentally believe in pay it forward. And I'll tell that entrepreneur like, hey, tell me how can I help you? But a couple of things which come to my mind when the young entrepreneur is building something. I will tell that entrepreneur to get a real feedback, get a real perspective from customers. Because end of the day, what you end up scaling is addresses either an unmet customer need or a pain point they have. And everything else is white noise. Do not build anything which is not unmet customer need or customer pain point. Work backwards from customer. And working backwards from customer is something I learned at Amazon. It's a core leadership principle, core way of operating. But I think that's the only way I know of which succeeds and works. And what it really means is you don't start by thinking things in your head or with your team, build them, and then ask the customer, what do you think about it? What you start with is asking customers, what's your pain point like? What really matters in your business? What are the top problems you want to solve? And then use that to create solutions and technologies which intersect for your company business, where to play, how to play right to it. You don't have to build tangential things, but things which intersect for you and your customers. So that would be my advice. Get a ton of customer feedback in and out every single hour, every single day.
I think that's fantastic advice. Sid, thanks for being on the show today, and thank you for telling your creation story at iTrade Network.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah.
And this concludes another chapter of Code Story. Code Story is hosted and produced by Noah Labhart. Be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the podcasting app of your choice. And when you get a chance, leave us a review. Both things help us out tremendously. And thanks again for listening.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.